What if France wins the World Cup again? Let's rewind. December 18th, 2022. Lusail Stadium, Qatar. You remember that final, right? How could anyone forget? It was one of the most unforgettable matches ever played. Before we get into what could happen, I want you to do me a favor. If you believe France has what it takes to get revenge, hit that like button. Your support fuels these deep dives, so make sure you're subscribed with notifications on. Now think back. For 80 agonizing minutes, it was a foregone conclusion. A complete masterclass from Argentina and the little magician, Lionel Messi. But the reigning champs, France? They were ghosts. A shadow of the team that stormed the 2018 tournament. Reports of a virus that tore through the squad seemed brutally true, with key players looking completely gassed. Their own coach, Didier Deschamps, admitted they just didn't have the same energy. It felt like the empire was crumbling. And then, in 97 seconds, Kylian Mbappé decided to rewrite the laws of football. A penalty. A jaw-dropping volley. Pure, unadulterated beast mode. The world stopped spinning. Extra time was somehow even more insane. Messi scores, you think it's over. Then Mbappé fires back, scoring only the second hat-trick in World Cup final history. But it wasn't enough. The cold cruelty of a penalty shootout followed, and just like that, the dream vanished. The image of the French players collapsing to the turf was pure heartbreak. But what if that wasn't the end of the story? What if that soul-crushing defeat wasn't a failure, but the very fuel needed to forge an unbreakable dynasty? What if the ghosts of 2022 were the catalyst for creating football's greatest modern empire? This isn't just about revenge. This is the story of how a haunted and hardened France could return to the world stage to claim a historic third star, and how Kylian Mbappé, at the absolute peak of his powers, could cement his legacy forever. The years after Qatar weren't spent in mourning. They were spent reloading. That sting of the final, the haunting image of Messi lifting that trophy. It became the silent motivation in every drill, every sprint, every single training session. Didier Deschamps, the architect of the 2018 winning machine, signed a new contract with one singular obsessive mission: finish the job. And the team? It evolved into something truly terrifying. This golden generation 2.0 was entering its prime. Kylian Mbappé, now the undisputed captain, was no longer just a phenom. He was the general, carrying the weight of a nation like a seasoned veteran. The conversation shifted, with legends like Jean-Pierre Papin suggesting he might just be the greatest striker in French history. But this was never a one-man show. The foundations of this French empire were bedrock. In the engine room, you had the Real Madrid duo, Aurélien Tchouaméni and Eduardo Camavinga, playing with a near telepathic connection. Is there a better midfield partnership on the planet? Tchouaméni, the anchor, controls the tempo, while Camavinga is the dynamo who turns defense into a blistering attack in a single run. They are the perfect blend of steel and style. Behind them, a defensive wall other countries would kill for. Arsenal's William Saliba, a master of positioning, alongside the likes of Jules Koundé and Theo Hernandez, providing lockdown defense and terrifying speed on the counter. Deschamps, a tactical chameleon, had an arsenal of options. He could stick with his trusted 4-2-3-1, letting the brilliant Antoine Griezmann roam and create. Or he could switch to a fluid 4-3-3 and simply unleash hell with his attackers. This French squad wasn't just deep, it was a chasm of world-class talent. The question wasn't if they were contenders for 2026, but what force on earth could possibly stop them. The 2026 World Cup in North America presented a new format: 48 teams, an added round of 32, a longer, more grueling path to glory. For this French team, it was a gauntlet they were built to withstand. Their reward? A tough group, featuring a dangerous Senegal and a Norway squad led by the phenomenal Erling Haaland. There would be no easy games. The group stage was a showcase of their cold, calculated efficiency. A disciplined win against Senegal, a professional dismantling of the playoff winner, and a tense victory over Norway, decided by, who else? A moment of pure Mbappé magic. Deschamps played it like a grandmaster, rotating his squad, using players like Randall Kolo Muani and Bradley Barcola to keep his superstars fresh. They topped the group, not with dazzling flair, but with the deadly seriousness of a team on a mission. The new round of 32 saw them sweep aside a spirited but outmatched opponent. But the round of 16 was a heavyweight brawl against Germany that tested their resolve, a game of inches decided by one clinical finish from the ever-clutch Griezmann. And then it happened. The scriptwriters delivered the showdown the entire world craved. A quarterfinal against Argentina. Mbappé versus Messi. The final chapter. The ghosts of Lusail were everywhere. The tension was suffocating. Spurred on by their passionate fans, Argentina even took the lead. But this was a different France. There was no panic, just a cold, steely focus. Camavinga and Tchouaméni seized control of the midfield with relentless energy. In the 75th minute, a surging run from Theo Hernandez is cut down in the box. Penalty. Mbappé steps up, the weight of 2022 on his shoulders, and coolly sends the keeper the wrong way. Extra time was a brutal, cagey war of attrition. Then, with penalties looming, a lightning counter-attack, a perfect pass from Griezmann, a blur of motion from Mbappé, and the ball is buried in the back of the net. Redemption. The semi-final against a technically brilliant Spain was a tactical chess match. France's defense, marshaled by the imperious Saliba, was unbreakable. The game was deadlocked, legs burning. Deschamps turned to his bench and unleashed his young prodigy, Warren Zaïre-Emery. The kid's fearless energy changed everything. A driving run, a clever pass, and Mbappé was free to fire home the winner. France was back in the World Cup final. The final, at a packed MetLife Stadium, was against their oldest and fiercest rivals, England. It was a final for the ages. England, hungry and stacked with talent, struck first. For a fleeting moment, you wondered if the doubts would creep back in, but these champions held their nerve. Just before halftime, Griezmann, the unsung hero of this entire era, stepped up and curled a breathtaking free kick into the top corner. The second half was a war. Every tackle was a statement. Every chance was gold. The clock ticked relentlessly toward 90 minutes. The game balanced on a knife's edge. Then, the moment that defines a legacy. Koundé wins the ball. He finds Tchouaméni, who fires a laser pass through the English press to Camavinga. He drives forward, pulling defenders toward him, and slides the ball wide to Mbappé. Donatello cuts inside. The entire world expects the far post curler. Instead, he unleashes a thunderous, unstoppable rocket at the near post. The net nearly rips off. Pandemonium. The final whistle sounds. France are world champions for a third time. Mbappé collapses to his knees, head in his hands, not in despair this time, but in pure ecstasy. He did it. He avenged the heartbreak of 2022 and led his nation to ultimate glory, joining the legendary teams of Brazil in 1962 and Italy in 1938 as one of the few to win 2 titles in 3 consecutive tournaments. The victory parade on the Champs-Élysées was a sea of pure, unadulterated joy. That third star on the jersey wasn't just another trophy, it was a symbol of resilience. It represented a generation that transformed its most agonizing failure into its defining triumph. The win cemented France as the undisputed dynasty of modern football. And for Kylian Mbappé, now 27 years old, it was the crowning achievement. A 2-time World Cup winner, France's all-time leading goal scorer. The debate was no longer about whether he was the best player in the world. The question had become much, much bigger. Where does he now stand in the pantheon of all-time greats? Has he finally surpassed Messi and Ronaldo? Has he become the GOAT? Now, I know some of you are probably thinking that's a ridiculous question, but you're underestimating the power of recency bias. If this scenario actually plays out in 2026, I promise you, that will be the only conversation in football. So I have to ask you, would a third star for France and a second for Mbappé cement his legacy as the greatest of all time? Or does he still have more to prove? Drop your honest, unfiltered opinion in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this trip into an alternate football reality, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with a friend who would either love or hate this outcome. Let's see what they have to say.